Welcome to Naj Reviews. This is Brian, your host, and today we're going to look at a Canadian film called Decoys. Now, I don't know why it's called Decoys. It doesn't really fit. I guess you could rationalize it. But anyways, one of the people in this movie is in the Schneider Dawn of the Dead. I'm assuming the hot chick that the asshole's trying to bang the whole time. I think a couple more were on some stuff, but I have no idea. This one is it's like melodramatic Species, and I don't think a critic would like it at all, to be honest, for really, really easy reasons. It's like they wanted to put all their ideas into one script, so they jumped the gun on certain things that could have been brought up later, and character motivations flippy-floppy, and I don't know why they decided to do it. There was a pretty good, albeit straight-to-DVD movie. This was a 2004 movie. They just needed to cut out some stuff or move stuff around, but the concept is good. So personally, I like this movie. Sometimes the concept of a movie can carry me through it. I kind of fixate on one thing. Like in this one, some of the practical effects are good, the concept is good, where it's based makes sense theoretically with what's going on. It's just the characters are weird and they didn't really have to be. Not a whole lot of tweaks, but some of them could have been made, and it would have made this movie a lot better. I'll comment on those when we get to those. Another thing they do in this movie that is really annoying. So this movie is about hot chicks seducing dudes at a college. That part's fine, but they comment on like big boobs and cleavage a lot in this movie, or several times in this movie. Now, granted, the girls in this movie are fairly attractive, but none of them have big boobs. But they act like all these girls have these big boobs. It's either cut that shit out of your script or hire actresses with big boobs. It's not that complicated, because it doesn't add anything anyways. It's just pointless dialogue. If you cut it all out, the movie would be, I don't know, 30 seconds shorter, so there's no reason to have it in there. It's real annoying. Might sound like a nitpick, but it's one of those things where, can you please comment on things on the screen, not things you wanted to be on the screen? Because it's kind of I don't know, it just bothered me. So those two things are my biggest gripe, just because it's annoying. There's a couple characters in this movie that don't need to exist, and they have these plot things that are pointless, that mean nothing. That sounds fairly negative, even though I said I liked the movie. So we're going to get into the overview now, and let's go. This takes place in Canada, obvs, and the opening is Halloween, and we're following this guy with flowers to his friend's house, and nobody's home at the friend's house, and then he sees them and they're frozen solid, and then he freaks out and sees somebody, and then it cuts to our real story. Now we're at the college, and we have a main character and his buddy's a virgin, and he's annoying about it. He's one of those people that act like they want to get down, but then once it gets to the situation, he's like, I understand that that's a defense mechanism, but it's an annoying one. It's like, stop lying. Just be quiet and meek in the corner. Or, if a chick is trying to go down on you, shush and let it happen. But that's beside the point. I thought the V-card guy was really annoying at first, and then he was more endearing towards the middle of the movie. And then it's funny, because the main guy, I liked him in the beginning of the movie, and I hate him by the end. It's weird. So they're showing, like, party crap, and then it shows this one chick that's in art class with a flamethrower. The only reason she's there is because the flamethrower is important. So the two buddies are going to the laundry room, and one of them main guy drinks a beer, and V-Card drinks all the time. And later we see he has some pills for his heart, which you would think would come into play later, which I wish they would have, but they didn't, and it's stupid. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So V-Card leaves, leaving new guy, or main guy. The two main hot chicks of this movie are Lily and Constance, Yeah, Constance. Constance is the one from Dawn of the Dead. And they're coming on to him hard. Like, are you sure this guy's not a virgin with the way he was acting? I mean, they're hot chicks that look foreign, but he's acting like he's never seen a woman in clothes at this point. But yeah, they're really good at seducing dudes. It's like they have a spell. They don't, but it feels like that. Lily leaves some quarters on the table, so main guy has to go return those quarters. And he ends up hiding in their closet like a fucking creeper. And this is the first misstep of the movie. The problem with it is, I'll tell you what happened and then I'll tell you how to fix it right here. I'm not going to wait to the end because it'll make me forget. So they're talking to each other. The girls come back in and he's hiding in the closet. And they start talking like they're going to do it. And they're supposed to be cousins. And they get really sexual. And here we get a little bit of nudity from Constance. And then it replays that nudity again later. And it's like, I swear this movie wants to be Species from Canada. But they only had one girl that would show her boobs. Now granted, in Species, they only had one girl that would show her boobs. But she showed her boobs a lot. Which doesn't... It's not really a gripe of the movie. It's just the parallel I drew. It's like... I don't know. I can almost remember the name of the alien from Species. It's like Celine or something. One of the two I've seen. Anyway, so then they grab a canister of some kind of cold spray. We learn later that it's nitrogen. And this movie talks about nitrogen like movies talk about nitrogen, not how it really works. That's annoying just because I know how nitrogen actually works. Or how it affects you if you got like sprayed with it. It'd be cold, you'd be fine. You can splash it in your face as long as it didn't touch your eyeball, you're fine. So they're getting really creepy, and then Lily is facing away. Well, actually before that, dude leans in because he thinks he's about to see two chicks get busy. And when you're being a voyeur, never lean in. Just gotta stay back. Not from experience, it's just, why the hell would you look that close if you're hiding from them? So they know he's in there, maybe? I mean, I'm pretty sure Constance saw him, but we'll get to that. We'll get to why that doesn't matter later. So Lily's not facing the camera, and then CGI hentai tentacles burst out of her chest and start flailing around, and Constance sprays it down with the N2. I forgot to mention this earlier. All the windows are open in all these places because these ladies like the cold. It takes the main character literally the entire movie to figure that out, and it's not that complicated. I figured it out before I knew that they had tentacle monsters in them. It wasn't that hard. So he sees this, and this is why it's a misstep of the movie. They could have had the N2 canister if they wanted, but I wouldn't have even had that. Just have the girls open the thing and talk weird to each other. Now we know they're aliens. So that way, there's a mystery in this movie for a little bit. Because it's like, oh, it's tentacle rapey. So now we know who's the good guys and the bad guys of the movie. And they could have just did it more subtly. Just, you can have them act like they're going to do each other or whatever, and then spray them down with liquid nitrogen or aerosolized nitrogen or something. That's weird enough. You don't actually need to show the tentacles at this point. And it makes it weird later because this dude is supposedly drunk, but you don't hallucinate hentai tentacles bursting out of somebody's chest when you're drunk. He didn't drop Sid. It makes it not make sense. And then later he like forgets that they're aliens. It's weird. And then he remembers they're aliens. It's really weird. He tries to tell his friends about this, and they don't believe him. So his friends are Hot Chick that isn't blonde. All the aliens are blonde, by the way. V-Card and fucking annoying music guy who doesn't like being called Nate. So we're going to call him Nate because fuck that guy. He's one of those guys in your friend group where you always want to stab him, but you can't because other people are around until he shuts the fuck up. It's annoying. I mean, I wouldn't believe his story either, but I would definitely go confront Lily about her chesticles because I'm that kind of guy. I was snooping in your room and I saw that you have chest tentacles. What's that about? And then I get, murdered by chest tentacles. But hey, it's just outright is my style more than this snooping around shit. It transitions to a party, and this is when we figure out that Lily knows that Guy was in the room, which makes it even weirder because now she knows that he knows that she has tentacles. It makes the movie like crumble in on itself right in the beginning. And this main guy has some hallucinations, like 3 in this movie, which would it makes it not make sense because he sees this hallucination of Lily having a tentacle, and then he wants to bang her still, and he's all hung up on this chick the whole time. And it's like, but you know she's an alien, but you won't ask her about her alien baby thing in her chest. They needed to go through the script one more time. Lily, or the lady friend in the friend group is jealous because she wants to be with main guy, and main guy wants to be with Lily, even though things I said earlier. And this is some kind of ball. Lily's the queen, and there's a king who can't read at all. And I'm pretty bad at reading. That's why I watch movies instead of reading books. But I don't read that bad. Main guy and king guy get in a fight. Main guy loses the fight, even though he could have won. He just kind of gave up. V-Card's in the bathroom now. Constance comes in and tries real hard to fuck him in that bathroom. He gets a little bit of a beeger, but then he wusses out and wants it to be special. And Constance is like, dude, I just want to lay you. We don't have to get married. And I'm like, yeah, usually. Lady friend and new guy go for a drive, or try to go for a drive. The truck won't start. The king guy is pretty rapey towards Lily at some point, but Lily's like, oh, I'm a hentai monster, so I'm just going to tentacle rape your mouth. And for some reason, lady friend is connected to the aliens, because she like senses this rape thing going on. It is pretty cool. There's a practical puppet with a thing going down his throat, and it's like, I mean, there's plenty of CGI, but there's some practical mix in, and her tentacles just beat the shit out of this guy, and he gets frozen in the snow. This is where we see the cards, or the pills for V-card that don't matter at all. Now, main guy is a suspect in the murder of King. I don't know what his name is. And we learned that he had relations with the cop that's coming to get him, which means nothing to the movie and also doesn't explain or contradicts the fact that he's being all bleh in the beginning with the two chicks. Not saying he has to be a Casanova, but he doesn't have to be dumbfounded. Like, if it happened to V-Card, it would make sense. It doesn't make sense that it happened to a dude that's had a relationship before. We learn that King's been frozen from the inside, so that tentacle does something to you on the inside. Main guy breaks into the morgue, and he finds King's body still frozen, and he shatters an arm, and it explodes, and it's a practical effect. It's fine. I like it. But he has more hallucinations here. His friends still don't believe him, even though some weird stuff's happening. Then there's another party that main guy and lady friend leave to plant cameras around the sorority house so he can get evidence, because now he believes that they're aliens again, even though he forgot they were aliens back when he was getting jealous that the alien wanted to, or was with King. See what I mean by it not making any sense? If they wouldn't have showed the tentacles in the beginning, it would make more sense, because then she'd just be weird, not a fucking alien. The annoying friend that I hate gets taken to a mausoleum, and at least he gets some before he gets frozen to death, and I was so glad to see him die. I cheered the first time I watched this movie. Constance is jealous of Lily because Lily's like the queen, so she shows off. They have one of those ice trough shot things that you see in movies and parties and stuff. She just licks up that thing while she's getting a shot and makes out with the chick with a flamethrower, and it goes on for way too long, but it's amazing from a guy's perspective, I'd say. And then there's a random talent show that I'm pretty sure the only reason that it's set up, or the only reason they have a talent show, is to A, be a little funny, B, show off chicks in bikinis, and C, show us the flamethrower again and the fact that the aliens don't like the flamethrower. And it's like, we didn't even need to see that. They spray liquid nitrogen on themselves. Literally one of the coldest things you can get your hands on easily. Of course they're not going to like the heat, but new guy's too dumb to figure that out until he sees the flamethrower. And yes, it doesn't make sense that she had a flamethrower in the middle of the thing. So, main guy decides to have sex with Lily to get her tentacles caught on tape, because now he knows her weakness. So he thinks that 10 tentacles whipping around, slapping him in the face and holding his arms down is not going to be a problem. Well, it does work. And they knock over a candle, because V-Card set up a bunch of candles because he wanted it to be special, but then he got too drunk to do it. That's why we're in this situation. Lady friend is watching through a webcam in another room to keep an eye out and all this stuff. And they knock over a candle, and Lily transforms into someone in a alien suit. And not gonna lie, for a movie that probably didn't have a ton of money behind it, it's pretty good. They only show it maybe 2 other times, but it's worth it when they do. It's like this, I can't even describe what it looks like. It looks reptilian, but with a little bit of hair, and it was great. Like, the first time I watched it, I was like getting taken out of this movie, and then that happened, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's pretty sweet, because I'm easily pleased, apparently. Then main guy's looking for evidence of that. He talks about this black liquid that we didn't get to see. Another reason I hate when they say shit like that in scripts. We never get to see it. It's not a thing that exists. Okay, so V-Card and Constance are about to do it, but V-Card does what main guy should have done from the beginning of the movie, and confronts Constance about her being an alien. This is where I started wanting the aliens to win and the people to lose, because Constance is by far my favorite character in this freaking movie for some reason. It's like, I feel bad for her sometimes, but then the end of the movie makes it kind of like confusing. We'll get there when we get there. So they're about to have sex. He confronts her about it, and she's like, Yeah, it's true. We're aliens trying to breed because all of our males died, and with every rape, death thing that they do, they're adapting to be able to do it right. And there's other things going on at this time, like main guy torturing Lily because he's a fucking psychopath now. So that's happening while V-Card and Constance are, trying to work it out. He's like, you're an alien. I'm an alien, theoretically. We can work it out. Although he's a dumbass and he doesn't just take the beeger, and it's like his first time's going to be his last time. Right? I mean, there's a chance that he's going to survive, but it's like, come on now. You could wait. The part of this movie that's weird is, do you know how many guys on this planet would line up to have sex with these hot chicks? Even if you were like, you will 100% die if you do this. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, let's do that. As my own random thought. There'd be enough dudes to like make it okay. And is it like a seahorse thing? Because they put something in you, I don't know. And then he's like, can I see your tentacles? That's like literally saying, I'm not comfortable to have sex right now. Can I see your vagina? Please show me your vagina. And another weird thing is they start having sex to show it. But earlier in the movie, we saw that Lily could just burst hers out whenever she wanted to. So why didn't they just do it that way? I don't understand. Like I said, this movie needs to go through another draft. Unfortunately, V-Card almost makes it. And right after they're done doing it, Psycho comes in and won't listen to V-Card. I'm going to believe Constance loved V-Card, not just because of the way she was acting in this scene, but how fucking shitty she looks in a later scene. And I thought they might have reincorporated those pills. I don't know how the pills would have helped this, but it would have. Why bring up the pills if you're not going to bring them up now? Like, have him take the pills, have Psycho give him the pills, and that somehow stabilizes him. I don't care. It doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense. They didn't tell us what the pills were, so who cares what it does? And there's aliens with tentacle chests. It's like, what the hell? I didn't bring up much of the melodramatic crap, but the music in this movie is so bad. Like, it's just, we get it, he's dying, calm down. It's not like it was his mom or his child, Jesus. But we do get to see something cool. I don't know why, but the babies are little spiders that come up from, you can see it through his skin, and then they pop out, and then it didn't take, so they explode on the way out. But they were like little spiders for some reason. Probably would have been better if it was like little human-shaped things, since the grown-ups are human. Or just like a mass of tentacles, like a squid or something. That would have made more sense to me, just based on how they look at the end. Unless those were dude ones, and dude ones look like spiders. I have no idea. But in my notes I said, I feel bad now. Main guy and cop lady team up to take out the blonde aliens. And there's a sorority dinner going on or something. And this is where you see Constance is like really sad looking. So I'm going to have to believe that she wasn't lying, because why the hell would she be sad now? She's around mostly aliens and dudes that nobody cares about because they're just going to die later. So that's that. But this is where main guy and cop guy start they kill them all. He brings the flamethrower that was set up twice earlier and just blasts the one with fire, and she explodes, the one that killed Nate. And then Lily gets shot and burned to death, and Constance runs off. And they go down in this like boiler room thing, and she gets sprayed and shot, and it's sad because I wanted the aliens to win. Then we go to like the next night, where Psycho's like, I won! And Lady Friend's like, we should do it! And he's like, let's do that! And she's like, guess where my belly button is? I'm a tentacle monster too. Now he's dead, and I'm happy. Because she was the lady from the beginning. Threw us off because she wasn't blonde. They do mention that they sent a scout first. Obviously, she's the scout. And she has no feelings. But it felt like Constance and Lily had feelings. So if Psycho would have talked it out, it'd probably have been okay. And if V-Card wouldn't have been stupid, he'd have probably lived. Constance could have, killed 3 more people, and then they'd be good. Or, I don't know, maybe just to have sex without the tentacle part, if it kills people. I mean, not with random strangers. You can kill them. It's a horror movie. I don't care who dies. Random strangers can die all they want. But, V-Card guy, it could have waited, but it wouldn't have made a better movie. That's just me putting my brain's logic into a movie. But it was pretty good for a low-budget, rated R alien movie that Prime suggested to me. If they would have made a couple of those tweaks that I mentioned while we were going through it, I think it would have actually been a good movie. Probably didn't need to have the talent show. That was kind of weird, but it's all good. Now, for next week's show, while I was doing my usual look at the actors on IMDb, I learned that there's a Decoys 2 that's higher rated than the first one, I believe. It's not free like this one was, but we're definitely doing Decoys 2. just because this movie made me intrigued for where they're going to take it. So that's it for this show. If you like the intro/outro, check the description, because that guy deserves some work because he's good. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week.